Hello and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Waypoint, and hopefully this one is not cursed. Last week's episode was pretty cursed, not just because I was ill, but because, well, a whole bunch of things happened. First of all, I couldn't frickin' render the video because I had a bug with my Vegas Pro editing software where every time I booted it up, I had to validate the serial key every single time. Because I reinstalled it and something fucked up in the reinstall, I couldn't be bothered to try again. And because of that, Magix's kind of servers were down to people who own this software, and it couldn't validate the key, so I couldn't render the video. That was the first problem I had. The second problem I had was when I did finally render it and upload it, YouTube was just like, hey, we don't trust this video, so our copyright checks are taking a lot longer than normal. I'm like, can they somehow sense that I'm playing this on an emulator? What the fuck? I was very concerned for a moment. Maybe they actually could, because I mentioned it in the video and it got transcribed into text and it got flared up on some kind of bot or something. I don't know. Again, no, like, it's not illegal. I own a game, so I shrug. But that took so long, and it turns out that they don't bother trying to process the video past 360p until you try to... until it's done with the copyright checks. And yes, I know that the copyright checks were probably more to do with the soundtrack in the back of the video, because of Nintendo are very litigious, and they've recently gone on a massive copyright strike spree with game soundtracks, so that's probably what it was. But still, let's hope that doesn't happen again, because it wasn't until like 24 hours after the video went up that people were actually able to see it in anything more than a hazy blur. And I mean, you know, it's not the clearest footage to begin with, let's be real, it's a DS game. But I'm back with another selection of my favourite Mario Kart DS tracks, because I went through and I beat the game on 150cc, forgot how easy it is to do that, how quick it is to do that, so I unlocked all the other tracks, and let's just say that the 6 tracks featured in this video are 6 tracks which I would like to see in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Track DLC stuff. Wow, it's such a mouthful, I always forget the order of the words. I'm still having fun playing around with DS emulation. I've got some other games which I already own on here. I've just downloaded LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga on DS because I thought it would be a meme. I thought it would be funny because, for those of you who don't know, I'm very excited for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga coming in 2 weeks from now-ish. I was like, you know, I went back and I finished LEGO Star Wars A Complete Saga for the 3rd time, I believe, in my life. That's a playthrough of both story mode and free play, but not all of the extra stuff for the achievements. Been over that before, but I was like, what can I do while I'm waiting for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga now that I've done the Complete Saga again? I know, play the crummy DS version. And, to my shock, it's actually really good and interesting in its own right. I'll probably have a video coming out soon, ish, where I'm playing through that game, or at least the first episode, and yeah, I've only played the first 2 levels so far, but it's fascinating to me because I'm so familiar with these levels. It's fascinating to see the changes to the levels, because it's not like they've taken the full version and modified it to make it playable on the DS. No, this is like a complete from scratch version with many of the same design philosophies, for want of a better term. Like, it's clear that they're trying to mimic the actual game as closely as possible, and it's astonishing how good of a job they do with it. Like, it's legitimately a fun version of a game to play. Like, obviously it's not as, I guess, fully featured as the main version, but it's probably just for people like me who have an unreasonable amount of love for this game. If you've never played the DS version of that game, seriously go and check it out. I thought it would just be a boring 2D side-scroller, but it's not. It's a, I won't say full 3D game. In spaces, it's a bit like Crash Bandicoot in that it's 2.5D a lot of the time, but I'm talking Crash Bandicoot PS1 games, not Crash Bandicoot GBA games, not the weird isometric things that they did. I never actually played those, I should try those at some point. But it's fascinating to me to see like how in some sections the level is like identical, in other sections it's got completely different puzzles and different mini-kits in different areas, because they had to swap out some sections that couldn't be done and put in new ones, and it's just... you know what, it's so weird. The smallest things fascinate me, like the fact that what's once like a droid door is now a clone trooper door. Like, someone made that decision and I want to know why. The second level, the one that introduces Jar Jar Binks, just isn't in the game. We just go straight to the 3rd level, and completing that 3rd level unlocks Jar Jar Binks, even though he's not playable in that level at all. So, to anyone who's never played the original game, it might just seem weird that you just unlock Jar Jar Binks at some point. He's just there. Anyway, yeah, so I'm having a great time checking that out. I've also found there is a Game Boy Advance game of the very original LEGO Star Wars, and I am assuming that must be a 2D side-scroller game, right? There's no way that one's 3D, so I'll probably check that one out at some point too. Obviously, purchasing a physical edition and emulating it, because those physical editions are so very easy to come by, and give money to the publishers who published it, obviously, definitely. If you can't tell, I'm in quite a good mood today. My cold is leaving me, like it's not gone, but as you can probably hear in my voice, I feel a lot better than I did this time last week. And it's a nice sunny day. It's getting warm because it's the end of March, so it's actually getting like I'm not having to wear a jumper all the time. I've got my windows open, it's a Sunday, people are chilling out. It's actually Mother's Day as I'm recording this. Did you forget to buy a card? Ah, you silly beggar, it was yesterday, you're too late. And it's in the UK, it's different everywhere else, so don't panic if you're watching this outside the UK. That always gets me when the Americans do it. They're like, Mother's Day coming up. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, right, yeah, no it's not. But yeah, I'm excited because next, I've got 2 Tuesday things to be excited about, and I like that because Tuesday is kind of the start of my work week, so it's usually a really, miserable day for me. But this coming Tuesday, we've got the release of Sylvanas, and I'm getting it via audiobook because I have an Audible subscription. Other audiobook services are available. And it's just, I'm so excited for this book. Like, apparently there's been, by the way, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's a World of Warcraft tie-in novel. And apparently some stuff about it has leaked online and has provoked some pretty vehement reactions in the community. But given this community's past, and how it typically reacts to things specifically around this character, and how it specifically reacts to things when taken out of context of full stories and not reading into things fully, I'm not saying the writing in World of Warcraft is amazing. I'm not saying that, there's not every reason to be super critical of Sylvanas' character, but what can I say? I trust Christie Golden, and I'm still looking forward to the book. Like, just as much as I was before this community outcry. I'm just hoping that nobody fucking spoils it for me in the meantime before I can get to it. But the audiobook is read by Paddy Matson, the voice of Sylvanas herself, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that because as I've mentioned in the past, I listen to audiobooks on the way to work sometimes, definitely on the way home from work most of the time, and it's basically something I get to do on the way to work, and it's going to be fun. And frankly, even if this book doesn't fix anything with Sylvanas' character, I don't really want it to, or expect it to, or need it to. I just love writing within the Warcraft universe, especially when it's from Christie Golden, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it either way. What can I say? I'm just a sucker like that. And then next Tuesday, well, I've already mentioned what's happening not next Tuesday, sorry, the Tuesday after. Well, it is next Tuesday from the time you're hearing this. Fuck time! The Tuesday after, it's all bum 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 boom 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 boom. And then the Tuesday after that, I've got off, so that's wonderful. I thought I had the week off for LEGO Star Wars, but sadly I don't. I didn't plan it that way, by the way. I thought it was just a happy coincidence, but I misread it. Either way, I should have some time to play it before work, hopefully. And from the latest gameplay previews we've been getting, of they've been giving people hands-on gameplay time with it, of A New Hope, the start of it, it looks so fucking good. It looks like it's going to exceed my expectations. I don't want to overhype this game. There are certain aspects of it where I'm like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing this game, and obviously my hype is through the roof for it, but it looks like an 8 out of 10, but I'm extremely hyped for this 8 out of 10, if you know what I mean. Maybe 9 out of 10, to be fair. It does a lot of things for the LEGO video game franchise. It takes so many steps forward, and it just remains to be seen if it meets its mark. From the footage I saw, someone posted footage of literally their 90 minutes of gameplay, raw, and from what I saw, everything looked amazing. But to be fair, on level 2 of episode 4, it did look kind of the entire level is just based around one room where you're helping to rebuild the Millennium Falcon, and the last quarter of it is just wave combat, which isn't very interesting and drags on a little bit too long. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a perfect game, but every other part of that gameplay footage I was in love with. I'm over the moon with. So we've got some good stuff coming up on the horizon, fuckos. I don't know why I said fuckos. In other news, what have I been playing lately? World of Warcraft, surprise. But also, Fortnite. Do you remember back in, was I making this show back when I was playing Fortnite? I might not have been. Has it been 5 years? I feel like 5 years ago is when I was playing Fortnite. Maybe 4 years ago. The most I ever played Fortnite was in Season 4. Or I guess I should say Chapter 1, Season 4. I completed the Battle Pass. I got the Omega skin. I'm pretty pleased with it still. I played a bit of Season 5 but dropped off. Yeah, you might be surprised, you might be like, Christian, what the fuck, Fortnite, that's kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, I actually really enjoy Fortnite. I love the aesthetic, I love what they do with their cosmetics, I love the way the Battle Pass works, it feels super rewarding, especially nowadays with the updates they've done to it. I actually really enjoy the gunplay, it's really simple, but it's really fun. I enjoy like the kind of frantic nature of scavenging, sometimes mid-combat, recovering shields and everything. I think it's just the best battle royale out there, I really do. Like, I'm not a huge fan obviously of like the well, at risk of sounding like a grumpy old man, of like the kind of zoomer culture of like I don't really know how to put it into words without being insulting, but like the kind of like really high-pitched poppy nature of it, if you know what I mean. I don't mind the dances are fine. I like some of the dances, I have some equipped, but for the most part, like, I just feel old when I play that game. But the two things brought me back to it. First, they're donating all their proceeds to Ukraine, as I mentioned last week. But I wasn't just gonna like download the game and pay for a battle pass, you know, just to do that. Like, I've already donated to Ukraine via other ways. But the thing that got me was Reese looked it up and was like, they've removed building, and I was like, wait, no, they haven't removed building, shut up. And he was like, they've removed building. And so I downloaded it immediately, and I've played quite a bit of it since. I obviously bought the battle pass, and I'm enjoying working my way through it. I'm going to try and get to the final tier of that battle pass to get the Doctor Strange stuff. It's not the end of the world if I don't. I'm really enjoying what I'm getting so far of it. I still wish they did the Halo thing of making it so that once you've bought the battle pass, you can just unlock it at your own pace. I think it's borderline anti-consumer to let people buy something that they have a limited time to earn the stuff in, if you know what I mean. Like, maybe just disable earning the V-Bucks for it if you want, after the pass expires, because otherwise it could get a little out of hand. But you definitely should allow people to continue to unlock things through the battle pass that they've paid for, in my humble opinion. But Epic seems to be really generous with like the amount of rewards they give you in the battle pass, and like the amount of V-Bucks they give you in the battle pass too. It's pretty interesting. I think they give you like 1500 V-Bucks if you complete the entire battle pass, and I think it costs like 900 for the next, so it gives you like a spare 600 if you're keeping up with it. I still haven't quite come across a battle pass in gaming that does it as well as Fortnite does, like anywhere. Ever. Today's video was actually close to taking place in Fortnite because I had a replay saved, and it was of a game where I actually clutched it up at the end and played tactfully, and I didn't take out the squads by myself, but like I tactfully won at the end from a few squads, and you know, that's not the kind of gameplay I usually manage to pull off myself, so Reese and Molly were downed basically, and I clutched it up. But unfortunately, as with pretty much every single game that includes a replay mode, Fortnite's replay mode is kind of ass, so I decided I already took a clip of that actual moment happening that will just show up in a Fortnite shenanigans, I guess. What else did I do this week? Well, I got a 1 week free trial for the Marvel Unlimited subscription, which I have been subscribed to before. I'm currently considering picking up the year pass because it's like half the price than actually just paying it every month. And Lord knows I have enough thing that I pay every month anyway, so it's like somewhere between 50 and 60 quid for a year, which I think is pretty good deal actually, like when you consider how many comics you get on that service. If you like reading Marvel comics, it's a good deal. I did have it before a couple of years ago for a year, and I think I read it for like 7 or 8 months before I kind of stopped, before I got distracted by other things. But in that time I read through the entirety of Spider-Man Ultimate Spider-Man, sorry. If you don't know, the Ultimate Universe is a whole thing. It was a separate universe created so that people could kind of have I hesitate to say a modern version of the Marvel Universe, because the Marvel Universe evolves pretty steadily anyway. There's this whole thing called Marvel Sliding Time, which is weird because like Spider-Man started out in the 1960s and now he's in the 2020s, and it's only been like 10 years of his life. But don't worry too much about all that stuff. I could talk about the weirdness of comic book canon for absolute hours, and I'm not going to do that here. All you need to know is Ultimate Spider-Man is, for the most part, a separate canon, a standalone thing with a whole bunch of other Ultimate lines like Ultimate Iron Man and Ultimate X-Men and Ultimate Fantastic Four. I read Ultimate Fantastic Four. Wait, did I read Ultimate Fantastic Four as well? I was planning on it. Wait, hang on a minute, I'm having a crisis. Yes, I did, sorry, yes I did, and it was really bloody good. I have extreme fondness for the Ultimate comics because, especially Spider-Man, just like that art style and everything, embodies like the era I grew up in. Like, I would see those comic books in shops and stuff. I never actually bought them and read them. I wasn't actually a comic books kid. I'm kind of catching up in my 20s. But like, it just captures the 2000s so perfectly, and it has a special place in my heart for that, and it's probably one of my favourite versions of Spider-Man too. So if you do ever pick up Marvel Unlimited, I highly recommend that you give Ultimate Spider-Man a read, because it's also where we got Miles Morales from. Like, the Miles Morales, which is in the Marvel Comics universe, actually came from the Ultimates universe. I know I said it's a separate canon, but, you know, comics, it's a whole thing. So anyway, what am I currently doing? Well, I'm currently reading the 2018 run of Spider-Man, because I can never get away from Spider-Man, it turns out. I do want to read some 4 stuff as well, which I'll do soon, but, yeah, a while ago I was reading through the original Amazing Spider-Man comics, like from issue 1, like the 1960s ones, but I can't remember where I left off on that, somewhere around issue 150 or so, and I was trying to find it, and I was trying to get back into reading the old comics, but I realised they do these soft resets for a reason, and so I should probably just start at what I believe is volume 5, because it's meant to be like this whole fresh start thing where the entire Marvel universe has been soft rebooted, and so I'm starting there, and I've got mixed opinions, but it is a good read by and large so far, so I'm doing that. Anyway, I've rambled past the video, so I'm going to leave it there. You'll probably hear more about my comic reading endeavours in the future. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Let me know if you have any comic recommendations.